Hold the phones because Zay Flowers is now a top 5 paid wide receiver in the NFL. What's going on, everybody? My name is Sutton Def, and you are listening to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also subscribe if you like daily Ravens content just like this. Now, like I said at the top of the video, Zay Flowers is now a top 5 paid wide receiver in this league. The Baltimore Ravens just agreed to a 4-year, $140 million extension for Zay Flowers, with $108 million of that fully guaranteed. Don't worry, I've done the math for you. That's $35 million per season. And that ties Zay Flowers with Justin Jefferson as the 4th highest paid wide receiver in the league. Only Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jamar Chase, and Drake London currently make more per season than Zay Flowers. And my immediate reaction to this is pretty simple. Zay Flowers deserved this extension. And I don't want anybody to get this misconstrued, because my idea of deserved might be a little bit different from your idea. Let me explain. In the words of the great Jerry Jones, he said something that made a lot of sense when it comes to paying players. He said, you don't pay a player based off of what they were. You pay a player based off of what they can become. Let that sink in for a second. So now that Zay Flowers has been paid like one of the best receivers in football, the expectations now have to change. And me personally, I do expect Zay Flowers to continue to ascend in this league if he does a couple of things. 1, that's run straight and run through contact more often. 2, less fumbling. And 3, scoring more touchdowns. Me personally, I would love to see at least 2 out of those 3 things happen this upcoming season. So I said expectations are going to now change for Zay Flowers, which I think is totally true. So let's start with the comparison that everybody's going to make with this new deal. Justin Jefferson signed the exact same $140 million extension back in 2024. The only difference was Justin Jefferson made $2 more million guaranteed. And the reason why I think this comparison is going to be unfair is because, like I said, in 2024, as a matter of fact, June of 2024 is when that Justin Jefferson deal got done. So it's an older deal that Justin Jefferson will more than likely reconstructure here soon. And need I remind you, when Justin Jefferson signed that deal in June of 2024, he became the highest paid wide receiver in football. And now 3 guys, the ones I mentioned earlier, have surpassed him. So basically, guys, the wide receiver market just continues to grow, much like any other position in the NFL. That's important context. This contract does not mean the Ravens currently view Zay Flowers as the same level wide receiver as Justin Jefferson. And I don't even believe that. And I'm a Ravens fan. But like I said before, teams are not only paying players for what they've already accomplished, they're paying for what they believe that player will become over the life of their contract. That is what the Ravens are betting on here. Last season, Zay Flowers set career highs with 86 receptions and just over 1,200 receiving yards. That yardage total ranks 7 across the entire NFL, and it established a new Ravens single-season receiving record. The fact of the matter is that he's gotten better every year, and he's done it in an offense that hasn't necessarily predicated itself around getting big numbers for wide receivers. So even though I do have my gripes with Zay Flowers, those 3 things that I mentioned earlier, I think that this contract was still well-deserved. And I'm comfortable with the investment for that reason. Zay has already proven that he can consistently get open, he can create after the catch, hopefully he runs straight more, and he can operate as Lamar Jackson's most reliable wide receiver. He's given the Ravens something they've spent years searching for. When you really think about it, Zay Flowers is the best wide receiver the Ravens have ever drafted. And most importantly, he fits Lamar Jackson's play style, which is that backyard, Florida boy offense. Hey, let's scramble around the field. I'll find you downfield 5, 6, 7 seconds into the play, and I'll get the ball to you. Another thing is, waiting another year to make this deal could have made it way more expensive than it is today. Because like I said before, the wide receiver market is not moving backwards. As we get more TV deal money for the NFL and the salary cap continues to increase, pretty soon Zay Flowers will then again fall out of the top 5 highest paid wide receivers. But like I said, job's not finished for Zay Flowers. Because while he's gotten a lot of receiving yards over his years, the touchdowns just have not matched up to that. While setting a single season receiving record last year for the Ravens, he only had 5 touchdowns in 2025, which ranked 44th in the entire league. And if we're being honest, when you're making $35 million per year, you cannot just be an in-between the 20s wide receiver. You have to finish drives. I'm hoping that this new Ravens coaching staff led by Declan Doyle can find ways to get Zay Flowers involved in the red zone this season. In my personal opinion, you cannot pay somebody that kind of money and then only use him primarily on screens, quick passes, and manufactured touches. Not saying to get rid of those type of plays completely for Zay Flowers, but they can't be the entire plan. Put him on some deep crossing routes. Give him opportunities on posts, corners, and vertical routes. You can really utilize him as that Z wide receiver and moving him around the formation and creating more favorable matchups for him. Outside of coaching, he does spend a little bit too much time moving sideways as well. I would love to see him get north more consistently on his runs this year. And then also ball security is going to be a big thing for me as well when it comes to Zay Flowers. He has been known to fumble pretty frequently in his career, unfortunately. And I think a lot of that has to do with him trying to juke back and forth and make the perfect play, because to be honest with you, when you're juking that much, all you're doing is creating favorable angles for defenders to catch up to you and punch that ball out. And we've seen that happen on numerous occasions with Zay Flowers. So he must protect the football better moving forward. But here's the thing. Zay Flowers is only 25 years old, so I have every reason to believe that he will continue to ascend as a top wide receiver in this league. So overall, I believe that this was the correct move to make for the Ravens. But I want to know what you think about this extension. Do you think that Zay Flowers deserves to be a top 5 wide receiver in terms of pay in the NFL? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you're listening to the Purple Rain Podcast. May Purple Rain.